Can you hear? Can you hear us now? Everybody, do you hear? Can you hear us now? Can you hear? Can you hear us now? Can you hear us flying? Can you hear? Can you hear us now? Can you hear us and see us? We're flying. Can you hear? Can you hear us now? Can you hear? See us occupying, occupying in Seattle, occupying in Portland, occupying San Francisco, occupying San Diego, occupying in Auckland, occupying in London, occupying everybody, occupying, occupying, occupying. And we are not going away. Now everybody, I need your help getting this anthem of ours going viral. It's on YouTube. Terry, T-E-R-R-Y, Shervin, S-H-E-R-V, as in Victor, E-in Solidarity!
Thank you. So going on with the speak out, please keep it under 3 minutes because we want to hear everybody. So we're going to be putting up a 30-second sign just because it's a speak out, right? Everybody has the right to speak.
I'm Matt. The economic crisis has not affected me. It has not affected me because I'm already living in poverty. And me, my family, my people have already been in an economic crisis for the last 100 years. Where have you been, middle class? This is a struggle that's not new. It's on you if the politicians show you a compromise to not take it. But for your sake, I urge you to reject it. But if you take it, I will warn that the so-called lower class will move. And if you take that lifeline the politician sends, you will be treated as if you were the 1%. Because when the foundation moves, the pyramid will crumble. So I urge everybody to be part of the foundation. Because the lower class has been going through this way too long, and we will not stop fighting until we get freedom, both social, economical, political, and physical. We believe in freedom so much that we will kill and die for it, so that our children and our grandchildren can see this. And this will start peaceful, but might not always be peaceful, because the oppressor is not peaceful. And the type of democracy that people like me have seen is the democracy bought by a whip and prison cells. So if you stand with us, we'll stand with you. Thank you.
So I've noticed a lot of gaps. So if folks can move forward and fill in the gaps so we can have more room for people to come in. Because we're in all this together, so we shouldn't be afraid of who's next to us, right? At some point, we're going to rely on the person next to us to uplift us. So it's really important that we get used to being close to each other. Hug your neighbor. Shake hands with your neighbor. Ask them their name, where they're from, why are they here. It's time we all get to know each other because we're part of this movement. Thank you.
I actually live in California, so I'm in the U district for the time being. You came out, yeah. Where in California? Central California, like Yosemite National Park. Right on. I just across the water, my favorite. Very fast one. I'm actually staying for
Okay, I want to grow up and know I'm going to get a job that I'm going to get a house this. I'm gonna get a car, and I'm gonna live a good life.
Yay! Give it up for the future!
I'm Will Williamson. I am a member of the Sailors Union of the Pacific, and I'm here in the interest of economic justice. As a union member, I have a civic responsibility to be part of the Occupy Wall Street, Occupy Seattle movement. The wages, the benefits, and working conditions that I enjoy were not handed down to me on a silver platter by some benevolent employer. They were fought for and won by the hard work and constant struggle of the Democratic Union that I am part of, along with the solidarity of the other unions who assist us in those efforts. The absurdity of the economic imbalances and injustices that plague our nation and world today make me want to vomit. I get sick when I hear people talking about throwing children and elderly off of Medicaid in order to balance a budget, but talk about showering tax favors on companies that benefit from the hardworking people of the localities that they set up shop in. I am exhausted of hearing of people losing the roof over their heads to pay for a life-saving medical procedure. I am delighted, however, that Eric Cantor, the phony House Majority Leader, is mighty uncomfortable right now about the mobs that are occupying the cities around the country. We are having an effect. No matter how our detractors may try to divide, conquer, marginalize, and demoralize us, our beautiful, imperfect movement, I wouldn't want it to be perfect, is articulating a long overdue laundry list of economic grievances and imbalances that plague and threaten our nation and world today. I'm here in solidarity with the unemployed, the working, the students, the retired, and all the people of the world who face economic imbalance, because an injury to one is an injury to all. Thank you.
It's time for another chat! What do y'all say? What do we want? Where do we want it? What do we want? Where do we want it? What do we want?
Justice!
Where do we want it? What do we want?
Justice!
Where do we want it?
I'll be quick. My name is Jorge Gonzalez. I represent Iraq Veterans Against the War. Why are we here? We're here because we are tired of occupations of Iraq, of Afghanistan, the US-funded occupation of Palestine. And with the billions of dollars that we can be saving from these wars, we can put money back into education and back into taking care of our soldiers and veterans. Locally here, 50 suicides on Joint Base Lewis McChord as of the beginning of the Afghanistan war. These soldiers are not being taken care of because they're not getting the money for medical physicians and, excuse me. Their money is being put instead into drugs, medications. That is how they're taking care of their soldiers. That is why they keep killing themselves. That's why they keep getting constantly redeployed. They have no other option. They have no jobs to go to. They are being forced into the military time and time again. Re-enlistment, that's what they give you. So, Iraq Veterans Against the War has a table in the back. We are having a campaign called Operation Recovery, where we are calling for the end of the deployment of traumatized troops, post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury, military sexual trauma. Please sign our pledge form and that you are supportive of us. Thank you.
I'm David Corton. I'm the author of When Corporations Rule the World, An Agenda for a New Economy. Hey! I'm also the board chair of Yes Magazine, and my wife is back here with free copies from anybody that wants some of our latest issue on our do-it-yourself economy. It is an incredible thrill to be here as part of this gathering. It represents an awakening of America, a long overdue awakening to the source of the true threat to American prosperity and security.
Thank you.
We call it Wall Street. You are here on the front lines of the struggle to liberate ourselves from Wall Street rule. Wall Street wraps itself in the American flag and touts its role as the creator of prosperity and American jobs. Americans are waking up to the reality that Wall Street lies. Wall Street is not in the business of creating jobs. Wall Street executives get their bonuses for killing American jobs or shipping them overseas. It turns out that most everything that Wall Street does is either illegal or should be illegal. It operates like a criminal syndicate, and you don't deal with the mafia by negotiating or by asking, please be nice. You shut it down. I grew up in America when we had a real middle class, when America was the industrial and technological power of the world, when we were respected, when we had a degree of security. Wall Street organized to change the rules, to strip Main Street of its power and take over that power itself so that the 1% could expropriate the wealth created by the other 99%. Our future depends on changing the rules to shift the power from the Wall Street 1% corporations to the Main Street 99%. As our forebears organized to liberate America from rule by a distant king and the crown corporations that served as his instruments of expropriation, you are calling on Americans to organize to liberate America from rule by Wall Street. Here's what I want. I want our economy back. I want our government back. I want America back. I want a world that works for all of the people all the time. What you're doing here potentially changes everything. You are naming the problem, and you are creating a focal point around which we can organize a national conversation about the economy that we want, the country we want, and what we need to do to get there. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Money for jobs and education, not for banks and corporations. Money for jobs and education, not for banks and corporations.
Money for jobs.
Education, not for banks and corporations. Money for jobs and education, not for banks and corporations.
Money for jobs and education, not for banks and corporations.
12,000 is a number I'd like all of you to remember. Hi, I'm Asha Gunabalan, and I am very proud of all of you here at Occupy Seattle. Thank you for being here. I agree with everything that has been said so far, and I hear that people are not taking us seriously because we may not have professional careers like Wall Street folks. So I'm going to talk for a minute about my resume. It is true what they say about the banks. I was a financial analyst for 17 years, an accountant and financial analyst in New York City, Washington DC, San Francisco, and I'm on your side, brother. And I want you to know that the calculations for bonuses for Wall Street investment banking groups, it's a true number, and it shocked me when I saw the hundreds of millions that we had to calculate for budgets for the investment banking sector. So everything you say is you hear is true about the corporations, and I stand testament to at least a few calculations of those. So based on all my knowledge, I can tell you that the tipping point for the movement to take off, the 2% tipping point that we need is 12,000 people in the streets of Seattle the next time we meet. So let me tell you how I came up with the calculation. The population of Seattle, the city of Seattle, is based on the last census, is 608,660. Rounded to 600,000. The tipping point calculation is 2%. 2% of 600,000 is 12,000. We only need 12,000 people on the streets here to occupy Seattle. Thank you.
My name is Richard Vettelbecker, and I'm an Episcopal priest, and probably some of you might know that the Episcopal Church owns about a quarter of Wall Street in Manhattan. And I would say get out there, all you Episcopalians, and occupy your churches, which I am tired of as an Episcopal priest. I'm tired of as an Episcopal priest for my church to be propping up the status quo of capitalism rather than be propping up what indeed this Jesus of Nazareth person, whatever you think he was or is, this Jesus of Nazareth person, he cleansed the temple. He cleansed the temple. And the Episcopal Church needs to turn it around, and you all need to support the reality of this Jesus of Nazareth who is cleansing the temple through each and every one of you. God bless you all, and thanks for coming today.
I'm going to do a quick song. Please hold your applause to the end of it, because there might be something you like and be screaming and saying yeah, but the next person can't hear the next word. So, and that's it. My name's Ace. How y'all doing? I hope you have a good day today. All right. As a people, we need to weed out the evildoers. Go over this earth with a fine-tooth comb like the vacuum on a Hoover, because these people stunting our growth, not only as a population, but they're attacking our mental occupations, our subconscious and our cognitive levels is what we're facing. I just need to find out a way to wake people up in these lands, how these secret societies be cultivating these sands. The new world order ain't for us, they killing us, fam. It don't really matter who I am, from white to black man, from Kennedy to Tupac, even Michael Jackson, he was a casualty in the end. Not only are they killing our presidents and leaders in other countries too, actually. So I passionately put pen to pad so I can stretch my mental math. As I sit back and look at the situation we're facing, I get mad and laugh. The sad part is if we stay on this path, we won't even laugh. I know God said he'd let the devil come out and play, but I sometimes wish and pray that he would come back fast and clean up the trash. Until then, my music and wisdom and ideas is the only thing I have to add. Would you really want to know the truth? That your government designed your demise to the two, and all they need and want is the control of your mind, with a few to help push the design with a poster child in mind. What if V for Vendetta was more than a book or a movie, but they also turned it into a movie to try to subdue thee? Yet my mind is greater than that, so I took to the message like crack. As I sit back and smoke this dro, I recount the facts and looking back, cause whenever we never talk about black, bold, and proud, it's get out of my face now. When I sit back and think about where we've come to now, I'm like, wow, what happened to the ideas of the civil rights and the Black Panther movement? Just because of a few bad apples, we end up going ruthless and instilling fear into our kids and then making them fatherless, while they robbing us of our lands and our history, turning ours into myths and mysteries. Do this by taking it, switching words and pictures, making it their own history. As they sit back in the shadows, killing their own. Come to the light, give us guns and drugs, and watch us kill our own. We still dance and romance on the stage for them. To me, it still seems like we slaves to them. How you doing, BC Al? Snake in the Serpent, 23, 22 bones and skulls. Y'all can bite me now, cause all I see is my third eye open is for that killer Illuminati, and so I can see the picture brightly. Would you really want to know the truth? That your government designed your demise to the two, and all they want is to, okay, yeah. Mess me up, stop. All right, last one. We're streaming
tonight, we're streaming from these times of envy, ego, and idolation, as the evildoers sit on top, passing out tickets to incarceration, either because our skins or our ideas ain't matching up with them. So what do? They try to kill us from within by attacking the black and the natives and with the side of a Mexican. Come to think about it, anyone with brown, black, or red skin, any one of them can get the dark and blunt in. All these labels, isms, and isms, they divide us as we talk about them. Together as the people of lost tribes, we gain, divided we fall. The devil got the grips of this society so well. If you come to him, he'll promise you fame and riches and gold. Idolization, worship is what's come most of us. But we don't no longer pay attention to nothing, just on the back of the dollar bill and God we trust. But who they talking to, in the God in us? Nah, the one that comes from the sky makes everyone fly. Or like Bob Marley said, makes everyone feel high. I'm just telling you to wake up and hold your head up high. Put down your work and enjoy your work, and before you end up in the hearse, because you don't want to come to this life with rebirth.
Hello, Seattle. I was born in this town. I marched in these streets in the 60s to bring a change in this country to stop the war. I started hitchhiking to San Francisco when I was 15 to do the same thing. I became a pacifist. I have always been against the war. And when 9/11 came along, I sat down and I started paying attention and writing a book of poems that I entitled, I Lost My Flag in a Black Body Bag, News Wars. And I stopped writing that book when we invaded Afghanistan. I went to march again in San Francisco. I went back again when we went to Iraq. And that is breaking our back. That is what's killing us in this country. I wrote this down the day after 9/11, when I was living in a world of terror. I purged my allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and the corporations that they command. One world controlling bombs that's invisible, who are violating the civil liberties of all. I want to warn you, we have to stand united. I saw these kind of demonstrations fall apart because of personal or group agendas. Never lose your solidarity in these movements. This is history. You are history. Thank you.
What do we want? Where do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? Justice! Where do we want it? So really quickly, if we can fill in the blanks, we all should be close to each other and not be afraid of the person next to us, because we don't know if we're going to rely on that person whenever. So get to know your neighbor, get to know their name. We're in all this together. And also to all the speakers, if you can please keep it under 3 minutes so we can hear everybody. There's a long line right here. Hello, my friends. My name is Valeria. I wanted to share with you why I have been here with these people almost every day. And I wanted to tell you what I learned in nursing school, the most important thing, and that's ethics. So the first principle of ethics is justice, which means to be fair. We believe it is not fair that our education and our healthcare programs that serve children, single parents, the disadvantaged, and the homeless are being cut, while the top 1% of our population is getting tax breaks because of loopholes. The second principle is beneficence, one that emphasizes kindness and charitability. We want benevolent businesses with owners that will advocate for unharmful food and products, advocate for their workers, and for the well-being of their communities. or moral independence. We, the 99% of Americans, including you and the 1%, have the basic human right to be independent and believe what you want, not what the mainstream media tells us to believe. Next principle is fidelity, which means to be faithful. Faithful to the ideals of this country, that we the people govern, not greed, not money, not corporations, but we the people. All of you. Lastly, I want to share with you my most favorite principle, and that is veracity, devotion to the truth. The truth is, majority of Americans are suffering from depression because of money. I ask you all, please stop occupying your minds and start occupying your heart. Occupy with us. We are peaceful. We are loving. We want to hear your voice. Don't be afraid to use it. Don't be afraid to come out here and stand up for what you believe in, which is a democracy and freedom. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm so happy to see all of you. So for the folks that have gotten here recently, this is the people's mic. So what we're asking folks, nobody's speech has been written. Everybody has autonomy to say whatever they want up here at the people's mic. The question is, why are we here? Is the basic question we ask folks to answer in whatever way, and why they're here and why we are here as a movement. Thank you.
Hey friends, hey family. I am here today because I am homeless. I live in Nicholsville, and I am here to represent the homeless community that is part of our 99%. In order for our community to have some unity, we need to have those jobs out there. We need to stand together. We need to be able to help each other, help ourselves in this community of our 99% fighting that other 1%. If we do not, we're all going to be walking around with rubber boots for the mud. We're all going to have tools in our pocket because it's the only way that we know how to survive. We need to stand together so that we can all help each other, whether we live in houses or whether we live in tents or underneath the tree in the sky. We are all one paycheck away from being in the same location. One paycheck away. As a homeless person, the things that I can offer is wonderful. The love and the unity that I can provide to my community is a good thing. But think of the things that we could do if only we had a home too. And the only way that we can do that is if we can help each other. So stand together, unite. Remember that homelessness is part of our 99% too, and help us.
So really quickly, this movement is not being funded by anybody. It's not being funded by a foundation. It's being funded by the people. So we rely on donations. Donations of food, if you have money, whatever, penny, coins, whatever cents you have or whatever money, please donate it, because we rely that on so we can provide for the amplified sound, and so that we can get the permit to have you all here. Where? So there's two people walking around. The buckets are up back there. Woo! There's a bucket back there, and there's another bucket. There's two buckets going around. Please donate. We really need those. And also go to occupyseattle.org for up-to-date minute information of what we're up to. Thank you.
Hi folks, how are you? I'm pleased to say I'm a former state senator, and that every single corporate interest funded my opponent. That's why I'm here. Now why are we here? I'm here, and I think most of us are here, because we awakened from a deep sleep to discover the house of our democracy was on fire. The data is in. The American dream has been hijacked. Half of our $14 trillion national debt can be directly attributed to 2 unpaid for, undeclared, unwise wars, plus tax breaks for people who don't need them. There's been a massive redistribution of wealth. Right now, 5% of the wealth, 5% of the people have more wealth than 95% of the rest. It's just too much. Thomas Jefferson knew this. Disparity of income undermines our democracy.
That's right.
Have you ever heard of the L curve? Anyone here hear about the L curve? If you take the wealth, right?
Yep.
And you reduce it to $100 bills, the average American, 1.5 inches. And by the time you hit the goal line, it's over 30 miles high. It's too high. But the other reason I'm here is because I'm concerned. Because we all have the right impulses, but I thought it was important for us to know specifically what do we believe collectively. And I wanted to give you 5 ideas that I think we can all stand behind. 5 ideas. Because I'm here to appeal to your reason, not just your emotion. 1, support for quality public education and vocational training. There are a lot of people who want to undermine public education because they can keep us dumb and stupid.
Yep.
And we're dumb and stupid enough to vote against things that help us and help them. It works. Public education. 1, universal health care. Because a person's health should not depend on their wealth. It's a matter of basic decency.
Yeah!
Tax fairness. This is not a new idea. Income taxes as a percentage of personal income are at their lowest level since 1950. But I want to go back to Thomas Jefferson, who after all did write the Declaration of Independence. And he said, as a way, looking at France at the time, he said, the country's wealth is concentrated in a very few hands. And he said this was the solution. This is a guy writing in the 1700s, right? Okay? He says, a means of silently lessening the inequality of property is to exempt all from taxation below a certain point and to tax the higher portions of property in geometrical progression as they rise. The progressive income tax. Next, the 4th, election integrity and campaign finance reform.
Oh yeah! There you go!
Beginning with one simple idea. Corporations are not people.
That's right!
And I want to give you one simple, cheap place to start. Public financing of elections, not all of them, too rich for our blood, just for our state Supreme Court. Because right now, I don't want to be selling those seats one by one so there's no rule of law. So think about that, 9 elections, staggered, public funding just for our state Supreme Court elections, so that at the very top, we can ensure the integrity of the system. And finally, last but not least, and I see some of my brothers and sisters from labor here, our support for labor unions and working men and women. Last sentence. Last sentence. It is not class warfare to not hear the sobs of those who lose their children for lack of medical care, but to only listen to the shrieks of the super rich as we ask them to pay their fair share. Not class warfare. Thank you.
I want to give a shout out to all of my brothers and sisters all around the world who are gathered today. In Sydney, Australia, in Tokyo. We're talking worldwide, global movement. And I don't know what I'm doing with this microphone because I'm supposed to be playing music. So I don't know if you can all hear me, but the guitar is of course out of tune because it's so cold. But you know, folk music is supposed to be a little out of tune. And I usually play in a chair, so I'm going to do a little like Ian Anderson here. But I am so inspired that I really couldn't speak today, so I decided to do some music because I can't say anything about what I see here. It blows my mind. So I was thinking about John Lennon and what he might say. As soon as you're born, they make you feel small. But giving you nothing in no time at all. So you're so damn confused, you feel nothing at all. And a working class hero is something to be. A working class hero is something to be. Well, they hurt you at home and they hit you at school. They hate you, you're clever, and they despise a fool. You're damn confused, some crazy, you can't follow the rules. And a working class hero is something to be. Yes, a working class hero is something to be. When they've tortured and taunted you for 20 odd years, and then they expect you to choose a career, but you can't really function, you're so full of fear. And a working class hero is something to be. A working class hero is something to be. Keep you doped with religion, sex and TV. And you think you're so clever and classless and free, but you're still a bunch of peasants as far as I can see. And our working class hero is something to be. Yes, a working class hero is something to be.
I'm Dorothy Radier, and I just came back from 5 glorious days occupying Washington, D.C. And I want to commend you on what you have already done here. It is so gratifying to come home and find this kind of action here in our town. The reason that I am so involved in this is that we have to stick together, because otherwise they'll stick it to us again. Don't let anybody divide you. Don't work on the small issues that have divided our nation for a long time. Right now, we need to change our form of government into a democracy. Thank you very much, all of you, for being here. Bring all your friends and neighbors, and stay put. Stay put, don't go away.
I'm a Unitarian Universalist minister over in Kirkland. The media says we have no clear purpose. There are those who say this mission, this gathering has no mission. There are those who say we will go away. They are wrong. Democracy looks like. This movement will not go away, because it is us, because it is the 99%, because it is real people speaking, not corporate dollars. Of laws. We are asking for much more than safety nets for our most vulnerable. We are asking for much more than campaign finance reform. We are asking for much more than sensible policies and regulations. We are asking for more than they can imagine. We are asking for justice, equity, and compassion. We are asking the harder questions. We are asking that every person be treated with respect and worth and dignity. We are asking for the return of the democratic process, where people elect our leaders, where our voices are heard. We are asking for a morality in which people are the most important resource. We are asking, no, we are demanding that the definition of a person is one right now.
Mike check! Mike check! My father was a World War II veteran. Defending the democracy he loved. I was a Vietnam War resistor. Defending the democracy I love. My son is in the military. Defending the democracy he loves. And we are here today. Defending the democracy we love. I ask all of you. Now your parents, your children, and your friends. Now is the time. Get up, stand up for yourselves. We are the democracy. Only as long as we defend it.
Hey now. Okay, now I got this little bullhorn because I'm on channel 7 now. I didn't tell them to do it. But I got the bullhorn. I said, no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. That's all I said. Then the thing went off. I said, okay. I said, then my girlfriend said, what does that mean? She said, ain't gonna be no peace without the justice. Ain't gonna be no peace without the justice. Ain't gonna be no peace without the justice. So she told me to tell you that. Can't get no justice. You gotta get some peace and you gotta mix it together. Now another thing, I got a chance to meet him and he said, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. He said, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. He said, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Yeah, that's what he said. And so we're gonna lift up this march also to Mr. James Brown. Because he was a soul brother and he taught us how to have some soul. So we're gonna bring some soul to this march. And we're gonna let them know that there's more where this came from. And not only that, we're gonna talk about, and then I'm gonna sit down or get down, about the children. We can't forget about the children and the education system. Okay? About enslaving them and treating them wrong in the school system. It's time out for that. All right? I'm telling you, when you start messing with the children, you got to come through me and you got to tell them to stop putting up them barriers when they see folk like me coming to tell them that they're doing wrong. You see, they got rid of Miss Good and Low. They called her Good Low, but she was good and low and she had to go. And I'm going too.
So if we can move closer together because we're growing so big and we're so beautiful that people can't hear us in the back. So we need to make room for everybody that's coming. We're a family. We're in this movement together, so we should not be afraid of the person next to us. Get to know them. Ask them their name, why they're here, because we are building this together.
I'm a little bit nervous. If you guys all give me a smile, I will be able to get through this. My name is Marissa. I was born in Oakland, California. I'm an undergraduate student at UCSC in California. And I am a community studies major, which means I'm a social justice and activism major, and that's the fuck why I'm here. I'm a genderqueer femme-fag. That is why I'm here. I'm here because I did not see enough beautiful queer faces out here representing our problems. We are part of the 99%. I am here because the most recent National Transgender Discrimination Survey found that trans folks have twice the national average rate of unemployment, and 78% report being harassed and face discrimination in their education. I'm here because half of respondents reported being abused by police in prison. I'm here because half of respondents are facing the problem of having to educate their own medical providers about how to treat them. Trans and gender healthcare needs a voice. I'm here because 63% of participants had experienced serious acts of violence and discrimination because of their identity and their gender expression. I'm here because I have problems. My community has problems. And all of you, 99%, have problems too. This collective 99% of the world needs support. We need change, and I'm not talking about nickels and dimes, you guys. I'm talking about real change, made by real solutions. Thank you for your time. Just know that we are here. We are queer. We are 99%, and we are not going anywhere. Until we see the solutions we need enacted in front of our faces, then we will go home.
Yes, I'm Honorable Michael Fuller, advocate for homeless veteran families. Racism, low-income housing, save our children, our elders. And I'm extraordinarily disturbed in my spirit with the incompetency and Mulliman say, that's meaning evil and wicked to we the people. Where I'm disabled. Just in court yesterday talking about this disability. Under American with Disability Act, July 26, 1990, which was signed by George W. Bush Sr. And the violations of Title 8 of the Fair Housing Act of 1968, which was amended in 1988. I'm continuously looking at the violation of Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. I'm looking at Title 9 of Education, as she was speaking about, and the violations of the Federal Funding Act of 2000. That's being violated. So we must, as a people, hold Christine Gregoire accountable for said violation. She has common knowledge and judicial knowledge because she stated we the people. Now, another thing I need to bring to your attention, don't you let these individuals that's in government, state, county, city, is a fiction. You hold the individuals that we put in office to enforce the Constitution. That's the only one you hold accountable. You can't hold a government accountable. The government didn't take no oath. The government didn't bleed no blood. I'm looking at the wars that's happening here, and we are being killed. But I'm looking at Patty Mary Campbell, the Montgomery, Norm Dix, out in Smith, Dale English, Dale Rocker, Rick Larson, up there in Washington, D.C., is not enforcing these laws. This is who you must hold accountable. Because as a people, I am a people, I don't like the incompetency in Washington, D.C., with President Barack Hussein Obama. I met with him. I told him how African American people descendants are being treated indifferently. I don't like the idea for you to slander Martin Luther King's name and say that Martin Luther King is proud that we have all come together. We're not together. And another thing, we're working under these Chinese laws, which is prohibited here in the United States. I educated Gary Locke too. Nope, that's for the record. And I just, what we need to do as a people, these violations, I'm telling you, they ain't gonna tell I'm telling you, because I know I'm talking about their law, not my law, and this the law that must be enforced.
So right now we're doing the people's mic. Every voice counts. Every voice needs to be heard. Our differences is our strength, because with our differences we're going to find the solution.
Thank you for coming out here today. It's wonderful that all your faces are looking here and all your ears are open to what's going on this stage. And I want to take my 3 minutes to help us connect with each other. So if you'll begin with me, this is interactive. First, feel your feet. And then, I am here. 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 Now put your hands on your belly. Take a deep breath in. And with the exhale, I am here. 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 Feel your body. I am here. I am here. I am here. I am here. Now put your hands on your heart. Turn and face a neighbor. And say, I'm with you. I'm with you. Turn and face another neighbor.
I'm with you.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm with you.
Turn and face another neighbor. Mix it up. I'm with you. I'm with you. Turn and face one more neighbor.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. Now, link up. Join hands. Link arms. Take a deep breath in. Feel your feet. Feel your belly. Feel your heart. And let's chant, we are one. 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 That's right. The 99%, when we link up like this, we will make a bigger body than the corporations.
We the people, not the corporation. 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 We the people, not the corporations.
Bonjour. That's a traditional greeting that I'm offering to you. It means my heart to yours in truth, peace, and harmony. I'm here today because I was walking home the other day, cutting through Westlake, and I heard somebody talking here, and he referred to Westlake as a place that was not sacred. And I felt that it needed to be said that this is a sacred place. This is a sacred movement because this is the end effect of years and years of misrepresentation about the foundation of this country. This country was founded on the basis of greed. This country was founded on the blood of the Duwamish people who once called this their home. And so it is my message and it is my offer of support that I bring to you when I say that this is a spiritual uprising and the natural order is set to be restored among people, among the earth, among the entire the entire creation. And so these are the end effects of colonialism that has been occurring since this country was founded and is now being spread out to Africa, to Palestine. And so I support you, and I support your decision to be here in Occupy Seattle. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Eaton-Wiley de Chavarria. I'm here because I think it's important to note that some of the 99% are more affected by the systems we live under than others. While it is clear that capitalism affects most of us negatively, people of color, queer people, women, and low-income people live on the margins of an already marginalized situation. Many of us live with the consequences of capitalism and colonialism in intimate ways. We do not feel safe holding our partners in public. We have stress-related illnesses which are worsened in times of national economic depression. We are the first to be blamed, we are the first to be silenced, and we are the first to die. Our bodies are the shields which bear the brunt of the economic violence perpetuated by corporations and our government. We have known we are the 99% our whole lives. I work for a welfare rights organization. In the last year, we have seen extreme cuts to all aspects of the public sector. However, social services are the cuts most devastating to my communities. To give just one example, in the last year's budget, Washington State chose to enact a 5-year time limit on our welfare program, which instantly cut 5,500 families, not people, off the welfare program. This meant they lost not only their cash, but their medical, childcare, and in some cases homes. Each month, more families are cut. This is a very effective way to kill children, and it's working very well. As a group who are standing against corporate greed, we also need to be standing for something. I believe we need to be standing for our sisters and brothers and others who are in the streets, who are dying needlessly, and whose lives are in our hands.
How y'all doing today? Alright, so I didn't really write anything down, but briefly I wanted to say something. Why I'm here is I think it's important to understand that the situation in this country now is not natural. The fact that we have 1% and the majority of people who are in poverty is not natural. And I feel like it's a problem when this is pointed out. Why do they have all this wealth? You know what I mean? How many of you here own acres of land and factories across the globe? By a show of hands. How many of you here have millions and billions of dollars in the bank? How many of you here come from families who have been wealthy for centuries off the backs of people of color across the world, poor people across the world? All right, so why do you want to maintain this system? If you want to reform this system, you want to maintain the relations that are here. And the relations that are here is that we're always going to have poverty. We're always going to have people of color feeling the brunt of this poverty. We're always going to have women feeling the brunt of this inequality. So the issue here, as I've said before, is reform or revolution. And if you're for a revolution, I want you to put your fist up. And I imagine some of you aren't. But you're going to find out what they say in the South, where fat means greasy. You're going to find out the truth. The issue here is that we have to stand and we have to end these social relations. We shouldn't be begging for crumbs for social services. We are the ones that make this country. Those people who got rich, the people who are rich now have been rich off the backs of our labor and the labor of our ancestors. This country began off the backs of slaves and the cotton trade and the destruction of Native Americans. Let's not forget that. And that's still here today. It affects us today. The fact that the black middle class was the first one to feel it first when the Depression came is not a coincidence. The fact that schools that have majority students of color have shitty education is not a coincidence. It's because the system has us out to do shitty jobs. That's what it has for us. That's our destiny in this system. So it is not in my interest or the interest of anyone here to maintain it. It's in our interest to understand why it works this way and to destroy it and to bring about a new system. I'm going to try to make this brief, I'm going to end it. I'm not for having a progressive tax and all these things. We shouldn't even have to have a vote to say I need to eat, that we need to eat. Are you kidding me? We shouldn't vote to say that poor people need to eat. First off, we need to destroy poverty. This is a joke. We shouldn't be trying to reform this system. We need to go ahead and take back what is ours. We are workers. We are people here that make this country pop and work. If we stop going to work, and maintaining this system, it will shut down. The issue here is reform or revolution, and we need revolution. We need to understand, we need to be aware of the sexism and the racism and all the other isms that are in this country, because if we don't understand that, if we don't fight against that, there will be no change in this country, and it's going to be the same thing. So I'm here to say that we need to have a revolution in this country. No reform. Forget the Democrats and Republicans. It's time for people power. And I'm out.
Oh, hey, I'm letting him sing, trust me. I love what's going on here, by the way. My name's Aliana. I organized the Speak Out today. I am one of the many members of Occupy Seattle. So I want to let this continue. And I just want to say that it was only supposed to be between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m., but we have a clear support of people that want to say more words. So I'd like to let this go till 2 p.m. We do have time for it. There are events that are going to happen throughout the day, but nothing pressing until about 2. I know there's a union thing, and I'm going to have somebody speak on that that's happening at 2 that knows more than I do about that. But let's continue this till 2 p.m. Let's have this guy sing.
So make sure this is on. Yeah, there it is. Come gather around me, hear my sad story. I know you think you've heard someone sing it before me, but it's an old song, I had to change it. Times ain't what they used to be. As I went walking that super highway below the gray haze and sooted skyway, I was arrested for hitchhiking on the freeway. They said it don't belong to me. No, it ain't my land, and it ain't your land. Could be a rich land, but it's a poor land. Those are the few that hold it in their tight grip hands so that it don't belong to you or me. When I was younger and in my schooling, I learned and followed by all the rulings. I never dreamed that they were only fooling. How could my teachers lie to me? But as time passed and I grew older and the world around me got a little colder, well then a voice came calling at my shoulder, said it don't belong to you or me. No, it ain't my land and it ain't your land. Could be a rich land, but it's a poor land. Those are the few that hold it in their tight grip hands so that it don't belong to you or me. From the boardrooms of corporations to the back roads of desperate situations, it's a confused and disunited nation, all the way from sea to shining sea. From the urban war zones of the busted street lights to the toxic wastelands of Nevada test sites, from the open strip mines to the clear-cut forest. Oh, it's a sad sight to see. I see the downsize, I see the layoffs, the corporate welfare, politicians' chaos. I see the bread lines that never make the headlines, cause they're not so entertaining on TV. When they can reduce you to just a number, when they can knock you down and they can plow you under, and when the only thing that matters is the dollar, then you know it don't belong to you or me. No, it ain't my land, and it ain't your land. Could be a rich land, but it's a poor land. Those are the few that hold it in their tight grip hands so that it don't belong to you or me. Now there was a time when this song was greater, but that was then, and this is later. And there's a hole in
my heart, there's like a crater, and they say it's gonna be the death of me. So let's take this song back, let's take this country, take back our future, it's our duty. Let's stand up tall so that everyone can see, then this land will belong to you and me. It will be your land, and it will be my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land will belong to you and me. Yes, it will.
Jesse needs to speak with you behind the Westlake stage. Thank you.
Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. This is not just a rally, this is not just a march, we are doing an occupation here at Westlake. It's bigger than just coming here one day, it's bigger than anything we've ever done. So we encourage you to continue staying here the entire day and from now on until we see a change that reflects the values that we want.
Occupy Wall Street, not Palestine, please. I am one more old bearded white guy, and I'm here for 3 reasons. 1, I want to live on the not-for-profit planet, which simply means that the wealth we create is reinvested in the health and well-being of everything and everybody. So that we get to get the benefits of being such clever humans instead of killing ourselves and everything else by being such clever humans. 2, I want to live on the equal rights planet. Because the equal rights planet is the birthright that we share with everything and everybody. Say those 2 things with me. I want to live on the not-for-profit planet. I want to live on the equal rights planet. But the real reason I'm here. Well, we can do that. The real reason I'm here is that if you will come down to Occupy Seattle and spend any amount of time, you will learn the real truth, which is that Occupy Seattle is addictive. Several of us have noticed this. I think that Occupy Seattle is addictive because if you come down and spend time here, you will discover that Occupy Seattle gives you more energy than you give it. I am not making this up. It turns out that revolution is better than caffeine. This is a serious problem. I think we need a 12-step support group. So what are we going to say? My name is Ed, and I occupy Seattle. So say that with me. Just substitute your own name. My name is Ed, and I occupy Seattle. Thanks for being here, and say one more thing with me. Now is a really good time. Now is a really good time.
For more information
is Chad, and I'm homeless and I'm a transient, and so I've had a lot of injustice done to me in the past by a lot of government officials, and I really feel like the world should be a better place. Oh, sorry. But about a week ago, no, about a month ago, when the whole Occupy Wall Street happened, I was on a mountain and I wrote this poem, and I wanted to share it with everybody because I thought it might help. But here it goes. We sit with stoned relaxation, waiting for shit to change, never knowing where we're going, but always looking for fame. Lost within society's grip, we stumble and we fall, coping with this fact that we're stuck behind these walls. Within the darkness, we are but a tiny speck of light, but we're waking up, and there's more of us, and we know something here ain't right. So all you bankers and corrupt politicians, pack your bags and hide. For these 50 stars are rightfully ours, and we see through all your lies. This endless debt you put us in, and you say God is on your side? Well, I don't know a bigger sin than how you made the world divide. I can only wish I'll see an end to all this pain, so I wake up each and every morning trying to be the change. Namaste, love to all. Remember to come to the Stop Police Brutality March next week, please. Never stop fighting, for we will win.
Just reminding you all, at 3, we're gonna have a march to Chase Bank to hold the banks accountable. So stay here. Hello, everybody. I don't know, some of you might know me, some of you might not. My name is Allie. I'm a Leakai. I do a lot of the live stream stuff. I've been involved in this for the past 2 weeks or so. I am here. You guys asked for us to talk about why we're here. I am here because I am part of the generation that was born into shackles from the second we left the womb. I am here because I have seen the things that we have done to those who try to better themselves according to the system. I am here because I am sick and tired of a world in which people who have health insurance, where those who get their claims denied, where that is considered the norm, it is considered the best option for those companies. I am here because I am a part of a union, and I have seen routinely our rights violated, our contracts blatantly ignored. I have seen people who have had to go to bat because they showed up here, because they executed their constitutional right. They have been fired. I am here because I am sick and tired of working for paper pennies, for money that will always be less than the debt that is in this world. I am here because I am sick and tired of the fact that our money can be multiplied millions-fold and is backed by nothing. I am here because I want to see change. I'm sure you all are. Banks got bailed out, we got sold out. We got sold out. Banks got bailed 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 out.
I'm David McClanahan from Physicians for a National Health Program. How many of you people out there want the health care you need for the rest of your lives? How many people out there are worried about having the health care you need for the rest of your lives? Okay, how many of you people are willing to fight for health care for everyone for the rest of their lives? Okay, so if the 99% want health care for everyone for the rest of everyone's lives, why don't we have it? It's because the 1% has determined that we have a market-based medical care system. And what does a market-based medical care system mean? It means you can get the health care you need if you can pay for it. It means 55,000 people die every year simply because they don't have health insurance. It means that of all the wealthy nations, the civilized nations, we have the highest unmet healthcare needs of any other nation. And why do we have it? Because we have the 1% at the top, and they have determined that the market-based system is where they control their profits. They control the banks. They control the politicians. They control the healthcare industry, which includes the for-private healthcare system, insurance system, which our system is based upon. So if the 99% wants to get health care for everyone for the rest of all of our lives, we need to fight for it. And how can we fight for it? We need to stay out in the streets like we are today. We need to give our politicians the word that we're going to yank them out of there and kick them out on their ass unless they fight for us. Okay, so why are you out here today? Why am I out here today? We want health care justice.
Good afternoon, Occupy Seattle! My name is Nicole. I'm representing Buy in USA, the International League of People's Struggles, and Anak Buy in Seattle, the first overseas chapter of Anak Buy in Philippines, a comprehensive youth and student organization fighting for national democracy and genuine freedom in the Philippines and Filipinos forced abroad by the same capitalist system that has brought us out today. We are joining you to recognize that not only are we in solidarity with Occupy Wall Street and the cities around the United States starting their own Occupy movements, but to also recognize that we stand with the millions of oppressed peoples around the world who have for years been fighting for their own sovereignty against U.S. imperialism. The fortunes of the top 1% in our country not only come from the generations of unpaid labor of workers in the United States, but also workers around the world. We as youth, students, women, workers, and immigrants, as Americans, must unite and fight for an alternative economic system that not only puts people over profits, but one that is not built on the exploitation of people and the destruction of nations around the globe. Hello, Occupy Seattle. How y'all doing? Good? My name is Katrina Bastanio, and I am here representing Pinaisa Seattle, a local Filipino women's organization that's part of Gabriela Philippines, an international organization, and also the International Women's Alliance. And I am here today because it is my legacy. I come from a long legacy of militant people and militant women, and I'm here to honor that legacy. She told me we must never take our legacy for granted. Women who came before us labeled menaces and shackled, killed for her beliefs like MLK and Malcolm, but nobody remembers her name. It's tragic. Nevertheless, we must honor they who paved the way. We cannot rest, wait for
to each other because our troubles are a reflection of race, class, ability, gender intersecting in the margins of the dominant agenda. We're vexed at a system that can never address the injustice. A rhythm is the everyday grind and the hustle of immigrant working class students and homemakers who move out to the streets becoming movers and shakers. We bring about the heat, call out the fakers and takers. Accept no defeat until we oust the invaders. We keep praying on our altar, they keep praying on our labor, and I'm praying for each soul they have taken to the grave. But I'm saying it's on us now, there is no savior. Land of the free, home of the brave is nothing but a fable. Sellers with greed, crossing the blade, how much have they taken? Still we proceed and we believe together we will make it. So make some mother loving noise and put your hands up, because what they're afraid of is when we gather our forces, enormous when we mobilize in masses. We show them the true source of power is in the hands of ang tao, ang bayan. Ngayon ay lumalaban, el pueblo unido, ang mas será vencido. Ang tao, ang bayan, ngayon ay lumalaban. The people, the women, the youth will keep on fighting! El pueblo unido, jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido, jamás será vencido. The people united will never be divided. 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 The people united.
In a lot of the conversations that I have online, whenever the subject of Yemen or Iraq or Libya comes up, somebody says, "You don't understand. That's a tribal society." What is a tribal society? It's a society where people take care of the people in their tribe. We live in an economic society. That's a society where people take care of the economy. An economist told me that economics is the study of scarcity. There's a thing called the marketplace where you compare how scarce things are. Gold is scarcer than silver, and silver is scarcer than aluminum, so gold is expensive and aluminum is cheap. But the cheapest thing of all is air. You can't even find a price for air. It's so totally worthless, unless you hold your breath. The purpose of this revolution is not in the streets or in the skyscrapers. The purpose of this revolution is in our minds and in our hearts, to get our heads out of the economic society. I'm going to challenge you to get your heads out of the economic society. I'm going to come around and ask you for donations. Not only in cash, but now we're able to take credit cards. Visa and MasterCard, so you have one less excuse. We need your basic information. If you don't have a pen, I've got one. If you don't have paper, I've got it. I'll find you wherever you are. Thank you so much.
Worried. I am worried about my future. I am worried about the fact that college tuition is $30,000 plus. I do not want to graduate with debt. I don't want my parents to have debt trying to pay for me to go to college. Education should not be based on money. It should try to educate everyone, to make everyone equal. Education should not have a price. Education should be for the people. It should be for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll call you if anything changes.
Hi, everybody. We are just 2 of 26 Seattle Raging Grannies. I have to tell you a secret, but please don't tell anybody. We have a policy, and we're not really the most organized of people, but we have a policy, our only policy, and that is that we have to have 3 of us in order to sing in public. Oh. So don't tell the other 24. Okay, this one's called Get Out Now. On account of we're not very happy about what's happening in Afghanistan. Okay. We went to war one day and now can't get away. The Afghans know how to run the show, they've never given way. Al-Qaeda was our aim and bombing was our game. Al-Qaeda fled our face, was threat, our strategy was lame. Oh, the thing you can't stop war until you've won it. Once you've begun it, you've got to stay. But we can't win a war against the Afghans. Why are we fighting them anyway? Get out now! We think this is pretty appropriate for what's happening right now. This is called fraud. That's what it's all about.
You have to cut maybe
Okay. I might start it too high or too low, and then we'll have to start over again. Is that okay with you guys? Subprime loans go in, toxic acids come out, cut them all up and spread them all about. They do the hocus pocus, bring the system down. Fraud's what it's all about. Put $1 in, $30 comes out. Bernie Madoff's game, then there's cheating all about. They did their hocus pocus and brought the system down. Fraud's what it's all about. Heads they win, tails we lose. Privatized gain, socialized loss. Bail out the banks no matter what the cost. They did the hocus pocus, brought the system down. Fraud's what it's all about. They did the hocus pocus. They did the hocus pocus. They did the hocus pocus. Fraud's what it's all about.
We got mail, so I'm gonna read it quickly from folks that sent us. So I thank you all for fighting the good fight. For us all, America stands with you. Stay strong. We are the 99%.
am a United States citizen and a world citizen, and so a representative of the 99%. I am native to this land. She is my mother. And so I am a representative of Mother Earth. I am a simple house cleaner, and as such, a representative of the working poor. I am a mother of 3, and so a representative of the oppressed, all mothers, all wisdom, and stand in solidarity with humankind. I am also a welfare mother, and I regularly stand in line at the DSHS office waiting for food stamps or medical assistance for my children. I am also here to represent the people who are just trying to eat and maintain, and they feel they cannot make it here today. There are many of us. I would like to say a Tibetan Buddhist prayer for all sentient beings. And this also goes out to the people of Tibet who are also fighting for human rights. A good quality of life, economic sustainability, human rights, freedom, and world peace. These are simple things. These are my children. These are the future. This is who we are fighting for. And look how brave they are to stand up here today. Yet we have come to a point of awakening where we have found ourselves participating in a form of modern-day slavery and dominated by an empire with no transparency. I have heard people ask, where are the leaders and visionaries of this movement? To that I would say, we are all right here, right now, today. And internationally, we have come to the consensus that the time is now for a revolution of wisdom.
Quick announcements. Mike from Tactical, we need you now in the back. Also, the person doing live streaming, we also need you in the back.
Women, and I would love to put that up on my.
You got a card?
Hello. My name's Michael. I'm a Sufi minister here in town. The problems that we're all facing now come from privileging corporate profit over all other values. But the natural law of the universe, which lives in all of our hearts, does not privilege corporate profit. And the natural law of the universe eventually wins. So I'd like to say a short prayer from the Zoroastrian tradition. This is one of the oldest songs of mankind. People have been singing this for about 5,000 years. Hashem
My daughter's my daughter's say it's for your mother. And I would love it.
Which means doing the right thing leads to happiness.
So profound. I'm gonna go find it.
And if we're doing the right thing just because it's the right thing to do, then we're on the right road.
I have to go find her.
And just one last thing, I want to say that we are the 99%. But to the rest of the world, we are the 1%. So if we want the 1% in this nation to be responsible to us, we've got to change our consciousness so that we're responsible to the rest of the world, because we're all in this together. Thank you.
I'm Betsy again. I'm a first grade teacher from Marysville. And why are we here? There's so many issues that are part of this umbrella, but I'd like to talk to you about the increasing privatization of our public commons. And I'd like you to help me with the tagline, "This revolution will not be privatized." Okay. Privatized military will be incentivized to lobby for laws that will keep us in endless war. But this revolution will not be privatized. Privatized prison system is incentivized to have high recidivism rates and to incarcerate an ever-increasing proportion of our citizenry. But this revolution will not be privatized. How many of you are happy with our privatized healthcare system? But this revolution will not be privatized. We have even privatized our social services so that banks are making big money and big profits on those little credit card-like things that you get your food stamps on these days. But this revolution will not be privatized. As a first grade teacher, I've seen what No Child Left Behind has done to our public schools. It's designed to funnel public school money to private for-profit corporations. But this revolution will not be privatized. My parents benefited from the public commons created by the New Deal. I have benefited from the public commons during the Johnson-era war on poverty that have made it possible for me to go to college in a way that today's young people cannot. Thank you, and this revolution will not be privatized.
And I know that healthcare is 62% of our foreclosures is one of the components. If we solve the healthcare crisis, we can simultaneously solve the housing crisis. So I'm going to ask you to sing this little song with me. Insurance man, where you gonna run to? Insurance man, where you gonna run to? Insurance man, where you gonna run to on election day? Insurance man, stealing from our health care. Insurance man, greedy as the bankers. Insurance man, you won't insure the poor, we're gonna fire you. Now comes the sing-along part. Insurance man, we're gonna fire you. Insurance man, we're gonna fire you. Insurance man, we're gonna fire you on election day. Insurance man, become a teacher. Insurance man, become a nurse. Insurance man, do something useful, we're gonna fire you. Ready? Insurance man, we're gonna fire you. Insurance man, we're gonna fire you. Insurance man, we're gonna fire you on election day. Insurance man, I gotta hire a lawyer. Insurance man, you're changing the rules. Insurance man, you're worse than a terrorist, we're gonna fire you. Ready? Insurance man, we're gonna fire you. Insurance man, we're gonna fire you. Insurance man, we're gonna fire you on election day. One more time. Insurance man, we're gonna fire you. Insurance man, we're gonna fire you. Insurance man, we're gonna fire you on election day.
So this movement is led by the people, for the people. Nobody's organizing us, nobody's funding us. That's why it's important that we need donations to pay for the amplified sound and the permit to have the amplified here so we can all hear each other. So there's people walking around with buckets. Just put whatever donations you can give us. All donations go to Occupy Seattle and the work that we're doing and the work that really all of us are doing because we're all part of this movement.
You should know, those of you in the front, that there are people, as far as I can see, going back. I think the most important thing that I've heard today is that this is a spiritual revolution, a spiritual awakening. And I came here to say one thing. 15 years ago, I made a mistake, and I hope we won't make that same mistake. I wanted to tell you about it very briefly. I had read that 46,900 children had died in Iraq in 1996, and I organized a demonstration at the Federal Building, and it was the 5th anniversary of the Gulf War. The media came out, and boy, was I ever angry. You could see smoke coming out of my ears, and I really let them have it, and it was not good. What happened was that I hoped it would never make air, and the people that would have heard me with my hatred for what we had done would have just turned off the television. So my message is, if this is a spiritual awakening, which I think is happening worldwide, then we have to practice the same kind of nonviolence that Mahatma Gandhi did. I'm moved to see how many people understand that here, and I think that's wonderful. I think that is what we need to keep a hold of so we cannot lose the momentum of this spiritual awakening. The very last thing is I'd like us all to remember and to know how many people of all different kinds and situations in life are supporting this. And I had 100 copies, which won't go very far at all today, of a statement by a Nobel laureate who's supporting us, Nobel laureate in economics. I'm just forgetting his name. Stiglitz, thank you. Joseph Stiglitz. I'll pass it around. Share it to the people who aren't here, who need to see who are behind us and who are with us. If you turn it over, you'll see Bert from Sesame Street and Bert from Baghdad. And the other piece I'll pass out, this is the last thing, is a statement from a group working on nonviolence. It's why corporations are not people, and what that means when you advocate that, the kind of violence that it entails. Thank you all for being here.
So this is the people's mic. Every voice counts. Every voice needs to be heard in this movement. We're going to go until 2 p.m. and then we're going to have, then at 3 p.m. we're going to start the march to occupy Chase Bank, because we need to hold the banks accountable. It all starts in Wall Street. And then afterwards we're going to come back here at 6:30 for the General Assembly.
Jesse Agopian, and if you can't read my t-shirt, I am a teacher. I teach at Garfield High School here. Bulldogs in the house. I'm also part of the 99% that's come here to change this country. I woke up this morning and I got the New York Times and I opened it to the business section. That's always a mistake. And I read an article about you all today. The hedge fund managers were interviewed about what they thought of you today, and this is what they said. Quote, most people view this as a ragtag group looking for sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, there's nothing wrong with those things, but we have a few other demands as well. They had some other things they were asking too. They said that we would quietly go away soon, and that they said, quote, bitter, that our own economic fate isn't looking up, and they're just looking for an easy target, they said to us. Now, some of the 1% actually believe those words. But the smart ones among the 1% know that we have a much bigger agenda, that we're out here to actually turn this nation upside down and right side up, that we've come here to take our money back, that we've come back to put the money in the schools, in the health care, in the job programs. The smart among the 1% know, and they are worried that we're coming for them. And I just want to say this today, to end up on this, I want to let people know that actually we, as teachers and union members, are planning to do a teach-in at Chase Bank. We want to go into the lobby of Chase Bank and set up a lesson plan to teach the bankers who caused the recession, who got bailed out, and who didn't get bailed out. If you want to be part of that action, you should definitely come back to Occupy Seattle and join us in that movement. And on a bigger note, we teachers are just part of the labor movement, and we want to join together with every unionist here and everybody who wants to be in a union to figure out how can labor support Occupy Seattle. So we're going to meet right over there, a half block down. At 2 o'clock, there's a banner right here that will be set up a half block down, and we're going to have a teach-in and a discussion with all union members to figure out how can labor support Occupy Seattle. Thank you so much. Teacher layoffs, no thanks. Bailout schools, not the banks.
No thanks. Bailout schools, not the banks. Bailout schools, not the banks.
You are your child's most important teacher.
We have a problem. Our own government is privatizing public education.
Our own government is privatizing public education.
They are resegregating America's schools.
They're resegregating America's schools.
Worse than before 1968.
Worse than before 1968.
They are saying if you are the wrong color, you cannot come to this school.
You cannot come to this school.
They are saying if you don't have enough money, you cannot come to this school.
You cannot come to this school.
They are saying if you are the wrong religion, you cannot come to this school. They are saying if you are gay or lesbian or transsexual, you cannot come to this school.
They are saying if you are gay or lesbian or transsexual, you cannot come to this school.
They are saying if you are in special needs, you cannot come to this school.
They are saying if you are in special needs, you cannot come to this school.
Please help.
Please help.
We need you. Thank you for being here.
Hi. A few minutes ago, someone was saying this revolution will not be privatized, and I'm all for that. We're all for that. This revolution will not be privatized. Well, I'll tell you, this money is privatized. Take a look at the money in your wallet. It says Federal Reserve. If you're lucky enough to have some in your wallet, it says Federal Reserve note. They create it out of nothing, and they charge us to use it. So I'm saying two things. We need to start creating and joining local currencies. They exist. They're local barter systems. They avoid paying money to the Federal Reserve. Join local currencies. The next thing, there's a website, Web of Debt. Ellen Brown wrote that website. She wrote the book. It talks all about the Ponzi money system our economy is based on. What happened with our money is not an accident. It is planned. That's the way the economy works. So we need to change away from one economy to many healthful, not sustainable, but healthful economies. We want healthful society, right? Now, Ellen Brown will be here a week from Wednesday, October 26th, 7 o'clock at Kane Hall. Please join, tell everybody to come out there. One other thing that's happening, Bob Hasegawa, one of our local lawmakers, is working to start a state bank. So we need you to come out and join a state to help get going state banks. And you can look at the website, wapublicbankproject.org.
So at 2 p.m. we're gonna have music because we need to dance in this revolution, right? So we encourage you all to stay here from 2 p.m., 3 p.m. the march starts, and we just have a few more speakers.
Hello, you beautiful people. We're members of the Seattle Peace Chorus, and we're here to offer this song in solidarity. And we hope you'll join with us. We shall. Please join in. We need you. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We're like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved. Freedom! We shall not be moved. Freedom! We shall not be moved. We're like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved. Fighting for health care, we shall not be moved. Fighting for health care, we shall not be moved. We're like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved. Living wage! Living wage, we shall not be moved. Fighting for a living wage, we shall not be moved. We're like
tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved. Democracy! Fighting for democracy, we shall not be moved. Fighting for democracy, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved. Like a tree that's standing by the water, we shall not be moved.
Mike, from Tactical, we really need you back here. Anybody sees Mike? We need you back here.
So it's 2 o'clock now, you guys, 1:58. We have approximately 7 speakers left. I need you speakers to form in a tight, nice line, because there's not many of you left. I would love to hear all of you speak. We've got a band coming up here at 2 o'clock. They're gonna set up the stuff. I think they're working on it soon. So let's make these quick, nice and short, and let's get everybody heard.
Put my timer on. Hey man, I'm not fucking around. It's legit. Seattle, hello! If you could be up here and see how big this is, wow, it's scary. This is fucking great. So how do we keep this feeling? How do we occupy ourselves when we're not here at Occupy Seattle? How do we occupy our work? How do we occupy our homes? Everybody here, do me a favor, hold up your phone. Serious, pull your phone out and hold it up. How many of your carriers right now have allowed the government to go in and perform a warrantless wiretap? You're feeding the beast. So take a look at it. It's all one of those faceless crimes. Look at your feet. Right now, look at your feet and see who made your shoes. See if they run a sweatshop. See if they're overseas telling people they can't sleep and they can't eat and they're going to make 35 cents a day. That's how we take Occupy Seattle with us. That's how we can stop it. Because it's not just the banks. It's us feeding the beast. It's us every time we go out to eat, our money goes somewhere. Every time we recycle electronics, there's a village somewhere that is sitting in the mercury and pulling out wires. And that's because we didn't want that one anymore. We wanted a new one. So anyway, have fun. Spend your money wisely. Make sure that you know exactly where your money goes. Because there's someone who's getting their shit taken away from them so that we can have our shit. Power!